さて、今日もやるか。
What was meant as a warning to Perzrak to be on the lookout for hiding precals is actually a good suggestion for the girl. Ducking behind the plant is a great way to escape detection. Remind the girl to walk slowly. Hurried footsteps will attract the attention of the Perzrak.
Welcome to my domain. See anything? Lure Kritzback away from the trolls. Spot Kritzback leaving so soon.
A Zager cassette.
If
Good idea. My battery was getting low. Pepper spray here.
Having tripped over every pesky regulation in my adopted Japan, I decided to advance my study of genetics in America, and I couldn't have arrived at a more auspicious time in history. Within a year, they had put a man on the moon.
This is a replica of the train the headmaster was held prisoner on.
They forged me a pair of cold, gray leg irons to match the color of my eyes. A decidedly rare trait I believe I inherited from my idol mother. They forged... My rations of stale bread and moldy cheese seemed especially cruel as our prison train crossed the Kama River into the foothills of the Ural Mountains. There, we passed one bucolic farm after another, every field dotted with plump, Russian black-pied cattle. Never in my life have I felt so bereft. I would have committed the most heinous of crimes to have tasted the rich, salty goodness of their flesh. If the food was bad, the water was worse. Discolored to the point that someone must have dyed it on purpose, and the taste could only be described as septic. Were it not for my robust constitution, I would have succumbed years ago to dementia from all the lead and other heavy metals in that toxic swill.
To get into the headmaster's office upstairs, we will need his PIN code. I don't have it in my files, but we can recover it. We'll need to answer some security questions first.
If freedom of movement is one of the fundamental rights of man, then a prison train, such as this was, provided an ingenious loophole for my scheming captors. They slapped a fresh coat of paint on its rotting sides, and even went so far as to give it a rugged and exciting-sounding name, the Siberian Express.
Reporting. I've got my post secure.
A Zager cassette.
No sign of a freak-out.
And though I was born into a world already in progress, with its arcane laws and perverse morality, with a washwoman for a mother and a question mark for a father, I knew that one day I would retire to a country of my own design, free from societal restraint.
Headmaster! Headmaster, over here!
If it isn't my...
聞いたな。何が落ちている？
Let's go for the steal. Got it.
No sign of the girl.
Upon completing the first draft, I delivered it personally to a small publishing house in the capital of France. A minor company I acquired and resurrected to suit my needs. I even went so far as to live in the rickety old apartment above the offices to personally oversee the publishing process.
As you can imagine, my job here in Metamorphosis can be pretty stressful. Whenever I need to zone out, I engage my brain with Kame, which is a clever and charming puzzle game. Kame is Japanese for paper. Kame is also Japanese for God. Why do I feel closer to God when I play time-wasting puzzle games? I sure do lead a dynamite life.
My pockets are full.
スプレーか。
We need to
ここ
find a
入れ
screwdriver.
ないのか、ドライバーないのか。
Have a quiet night. Place is quiet.
Hello, librarian. Good evening, Overseer. Around the pre-cals, I must insist you address me as headmaster.
Oh, my apologies, sir.
What did you think of my lecture? You may speak freely.
Well, well, you most certainly have a passion for what you teach. It was most inspiring.
Your eyes and your words don't seem to align. Now, I asked that you speak freely. It's okay. No harm in speaking your mind to me. I will respect your honesty. In fact, I demand nothing less.
Well then, sir, to be blunt, It felt more like a sermon than a lecture tonight.
Do you take issue with that? Again, speak freely.
Well, sir, I have never been a part of an academy quite like this one. The precals, well, they seem to study only one subject here.
What subject is that?
Well, sir, you.
なるほど。
Reporting.
と。隠れられる。
I hope they can't see me here.
怖っ、今開かなかった。ここに来るのか。
False prop.
A pin code is. May I suggest Lean? It might come in handy when answering.
Place is quiet.
The first draft rumbled from my...
何だったっけかな。
To get into the headmaster's office upstairs, we will need his PIN code. I don't have it in my files, but we can recover it. We'll need to answer some security questions first.
こんなあったっけか。
False prophet infiltrates metamorphosis. Masquerading as prison.
違うな、多分あっちか。まずいとこにいるな。
auspicious time in history. Within a year, they had put a man on the moon. They forged me a pair of cold, gray leg irons to match the color of my eyes. A decidedly rare trait I believe I inherited from my idol mother. My rations of stale bread and moldy cheese seemed especially cruel as our prison train crossed the Kama River into the foothills of the Ural Mountains. There, we passed one bucolic farm after another, every field dotted with plump, Russian black-pied cattle. Never in my life have I felt so bereft. I would have committed the most heinous of crimes to have tasted the rich, salty goodness of their flesh.
関係がないな。
If the food was bad, the water was worse. Discolored to the point that someone must have dyed it on purpose, and the taste could only be described as septic. Were it not for my robust constitution, I would have succumbed years ago to dementia from all the lead and other heavy metals in that toxic swill.
Clear.
If freedom of movement is one of the fundamental rights of man, then a prison train, such as this was, provided an ingenious loophole for my scheming captors. They slapped a fresh coat of paint on its rotting sides, and even went so far as to give it a rugged and exciting-sounding name, the Siberian Express.
特にないな。
False prophet infiltrates metamorphosis. Masquerading as Prizrak, man brings toxic agenda to our perfect garden. The man's name is Zager, I believe. Daniel Marcus Zager. Apparently he was some kind of journalist on the outside. If the overseer was smart, he'd label this as an act of supreme jealousy. After all, ours is a nation so wonderful that people risk death to sneak inside. Maybe we should take the initiative and lead with this angle.
Headmaster! Headmaster, over here!
If it isn't my favorite journalist from the Morning Bell.
It was a brilliant speech, Headmaster.
Why, thank you, Miss Sade.
Please, call me Maddie. Perhaps you could tell your citizens a bit more about the arrival. As much as you can state publicly, of course.
Of course, well, in a matter of weeks, we will take our bow on the global stage. The arrival is our world debut, and once it comes to pass, there will be little doubt that though we are a small nation and few in number, We are a force to be reckoned with.
I'm sorry, I had a follow-up, but I just got lost in the power of your voice.
Why, Maddie, please, you embarrass me.
Now, where was I? Oh, right. Your cryptic answers, which I adore, I must add.
Thank you.
But they've left some to speculate that the arrival refers to our ascension as a nuclear power.
Ah, nuclear power. In the 21st century, nuclear power is a contradiction in terms. Let those dying republics split atoms to their heart's content. No, my dear Maddie, what our Republic achieved is something far more impressive. And the mark we leave on the world will last an eternity.
The first draft rumbled from my mind and shook the page like a 9.0 earthquake. The pen was merely the needle on the seismograph, recording the shockwaves.
Let's see what's inside the box.
ああ、あそこか。
The first draft.
Make a wish. But don't tell me what it is, or it won't come true.
I wish the headmaster was dead.
Weep. Don't talk like that.
Zager said that someday the truth will rain down on this place and wash away all of the headmaster's lies.
I've never seen the rain before.
Zager wasn't talking about the rain. He was talking about the truth.
I don't care.
To get into the headmaster's office upstairs, we will need his PIN code. I don't have it in my files, but we can recover it. We'll need to answer some security questions first.
人類が月に到着した年って言ってたよな。1968年かじゃあ。きたー。 なんかいるじゃん。
Everything looks good.
I've been this way before. We're getting closer to the headmaster's office. This may come in handy.
Kafka's Metamorphosis. Best to keep using the German title, Die Verwandlung. We cannot risk cross-contaminating the name of our grand experiment with this simplistic trash. This book portrays the act of transforming one's essence as a vile and isolating experience. Such misinterpretation would burden our children with doubt toward our own ends. Squash this vile bug, librarian.
Why, librarian, you look like you've seen a ghost.
I see many ghosts on these walls. Why would you take pictures with monsters, and worse, display them proudly?
I have sat for pictures with many important people, even people I find disagreeable.
I suspect you mean me. How could you stand beside this man here?
Not a fan of the Generalissimo, are we?
I crossed an ocean to escape Franco's brutality, only to find his brand of fascism had been imported to Argentina.
Well, I can't speak to that. But I will say I found our meeting quite pleasant. He was an excellent conversationalist, and his taste in wine, impeccable.
Ah, でもアイテムがあるな。戻ってきちゃった。
Second report. All's quiet here.
I hope they can't see me here.
ちらっと向こう見んのがいやらしいな。
Everything looks good.
アイテムをどうにか取りたい。
Oh no.
I can't.
He's already been hit. I'll check his pockets. I got something.
そりゃそうなるわね。
I'll hold on to this.
さて強引に行きますか。誰もいない。
I found a cassette.
Everything looks good. Increase the threat level.
危ねえ。アウトみたいなもんだけど、つながればいいのか。ここは 2.0 だからね。ここは誰かいるな。ドア閉めないとまずいし、いないな。じゃあそっちか。こっちはセーフティーか。じゃあ行こう。
Good idea. We can recharge here. Look, pepper spray.
If the battery on the girl's phone runs low, she need only find her way to a confinement room. Ideally, she'll visit them on her own free will, and not with a Prizrak escort.
いっぱい拾ってたな。
Mir Mooney P takes me back in a big way. Back before the internet and FAQs, when we used to get stuck, we invested time into the game's systems enough to make the incomprehensible become familiar. Eventually, it all made sense. The payoff was worth it. Mir Mooney P wraps that nostalgic sentiment in a gorgeous package, if you can embrace the challenge.
Welcome to my domain. What are you buying? Come back anytime.
できれば警戒レベル下がるまでここにいたいな。
Threat level is returning to normal.
We owe a debt of gratitude to those giants whose shoulders we've stood upon. The earlier they lived, the larger their stature, and so the greater our debt. While the 20s roared in America, they screamed like a Siberian windstorm in Vladimir's hometown of Simbirsk. Controversial man of the people, he was surely. And the fact that he spent time in political exile makes him that much more admirable, in my estimation. His detractors would call him an opportunist, and they would be right. But Yataro Iwasaki was given nothing less than the modest opportunity to bring an entire nation into the modern age, and he succeeded. The nerve of him. A personal favorite. For those who would criticize him for his monopolistic tendencies in the early 20th century, I say, shout it from the rooftops, or, barring that, hop online and voice your disdain in a chat forum. He would appreciate the irony. Plato's keen eyes peered further into the future than any of his Grecian contemporaries. He was, and will remain, the most vocal supporter of the classic republic and its earliest. The father of Europe was besieged from all sides by pagan tyranny. And then in the year 800, he did a most remarkable thing. He held the hands of secularism and religion and married them together in what would later be called the Renaissance. It is difficult to write a story as it unfolds, but to wait until it's finished is to risk butchering the telling of it. I would rather strain the wrists of those taking my dictation than cause even a modicum of butchery. Her death in 1952 was a tragedy, not just for the Argentine shirtless who idolized her, but for the anti-Peronists who celebrated her demise. Christ had a similarly divided populace to contend with, and like Eva, succumbed to sacrifice at the age of 33.
statue light up. Something's wrong.
$1830年代別かな。ここにもいるな。剣のやつ、手前が6。ただこれがもうされてるんだよな。あ、非完全か。そしたらやっぱ年代順か。1970、35、45だから、これは45、35。騎士からか。騎士からなんだけど、開いてない。ここも1900入るよな。だね、オッケーオッケー。危ない。板も押されてるから。危ないな。多分これ。
Statue lit up. I think we did something right.
これはラストでしょ。モザイクかかってんだよな、1個。次がこれ。
That worked. Let's try the next one.
こっち来た。
Statue lit up. I think we did something right.
喋んじゃねえよ。バレたらめんどくさいんだよ。こいつか から盗みしてないな。
Let's see what he's carrying. Got it.
なんか持ってたな。
I flock to Metroidvania games like a bee to honey. I just didn't expect to play one soaked in Mexican folklore. In Guacamelee, you play as a luchador who must fight through death to rescue El Presidente's daughter. While the premise is silly, it's clear that the developers at Drinkbox took their job seriously. Deep combat, epic boss battles, couch co-op. Guacamelee is the whole enchilada. Just don't forget to get the Super Turbo Championship Edition.
New statue lit up.
ここからノンストップなんだよな、確か。次向こう向いたら行くか。で、ラストここでしょ。
You've solved it. You're a natural at puzzles.
こっち見てないね。オッケー。じゃああとはドア行くだけだ。なるほど。
Can you hack this open?
サーバーか。
Taser.
行っちゃっていいのね。戻りたいところではあるけど。行っちゃえ。
The headmaster's office. I remember being.
危ねえ。
Welcome back to Washington. How's the weather in your corner of the world? What if I tell you, you're going to try to guess my location? No? I've about given up on that. It's
It's been insufferably hot in D.C.
Then why are we meeting here?
I'm sorry?
Why not do this on the
isn't built yet.
What? I was told construction began a month after the attack.
This is the U.S. government you're talking about. Maybe you've heard of us. Our contractors get paid twice as much to take twice as long.
Unbelievable.
Right this way, sir. Watch your step.
Please, sit. Coffee? I want a whistleblower.
Coffee?
I'm serious.
We can talk about that.
We're going to have to talk about that. If you want to hand the reins to someone who won't let the horse forget who's in charge.
I'm afraid I don't follow you.
That's your problem. You've got too many leaders and not enough followers. You should be following me. All of you should.
Okay, let's table that for a second. Say we get you a plant, and this plant blows his whistle in the year.
Or 2 months.
Or whenever. They're still not about to dismantle their entire surveillance infrastructure over some bad press.
I'm afraid you're right. This is where I need your help, Vice Admiral. If you get me on board and in command, then it won't matter how red their faces turn, or if they turn red at all. They won't have to privatize under pressure either. I'll already hold the reins. But we'll give it a name. Carnival. The Arrival. It doesn't matter. And we'll play act our way into the driver's seat.
I can't even imagine.
Leave imagination to me.
なるほど。カメラが3箇所。
Here's a young girl. At least I think I was. Someone's coming.
どうしようじゃねえよ。
Unqualified disaster. And on the eve of the arrival, no less.
Everything is fine, sir.
Fine? You were assaulted by a Prizrak. And you let altered copies of the manifesto reach the
I
children.
have the situation.
ちょっと待って、これ足元見たいな。
And under control.
I'm beginning to think your definition of control is different than mine. They don't respect you because you don't wear...
あったな。これ間抜けだな。
The uniform. It's a weakness. It puts you at risk. This is...
何か出すの？
An historic night for us. There can be no room for error.
あったあった。
Looks like a Soviet-made Tokarev service pistol. I don't believe Mirai saw him slip that gun from the drawer.
このままじゃ撃たれるんじゃないのかな。
I understand.
Then you understand why Derringer will lead the arrival.
What?
ああ、入ってきた。
I'm sorry, my dear. We all appreciate the fine work you...
ああ、これでいいんじゃんか。 されるな。
But you lost sight of what's most important. Protecting me.
Sir, I can lead the arrival.
Murray, you speak the language of diplomacy. Derringer speaks the truth. Truth hurts. This isn't a dismissal. Derringer will still need your help when we get reset.
Yes, sir. The mentor is an asset to our cause. I look forward to hearing her ideas going forward.
Watch your step.
She's weak. I hope that's all it is. Where was Murray when the Prizrak attacked her?
This section, outside the library. I'll look into it.
It's hard to know who to trust these days. Seems we're running a loyalty deficit around here. I don't mean you, Quinn, of course. I know I can trust you.
ああ、なるほどね。
Wait.
これはバレてるでしょう。
I never forgot this before. Must be old.
バレてない。
No chance, sir. You just got a lot on your mind tonight.
Quite so. Come, young man, let's get to the surface.
待った。
It sounds like that door leads to the surface.
Dormmaster faces swift reprimand. Mireille Prideaux found with contraband. Overseer, none of us are above the law.
あれ続いてあった。
Dormmaster faces swift reprimand. Mireille Prideaux found with contraband. Overseer, none of us are above the law.
Miss Sade, it has been a pleasure speaking to you, but I must get up early tomorrow.
Look, I'm turning off my tape recorder. This is no longer an interview. We're just two people talking. Perhaps one more glass?
A short one, then.
Where do you get the wine from? I thought we weren't allowed contraband from the outside world.
Off the record? I've been here long enough. I'm allowed certain liberties.
You receive special treatment?
I know how big my cage is. At the end of the day, we are all equally inferior in the eyes of the Overseer. Don't you dare print that, Miss Sade.
I promise. Strictly off the record.
そこで記事にされたな。
You just acquired a fingerprint from that glass. Normally, the Overseer wouldn't be so careless as to leave a usable print. But recently, in celebration of Zager's capture, the big man poured himself a stiff drink, and for a moment, let his guard down. Those pristine white gloves came off, and he was one of us for a day.
Gentlemen, I wish to resign. This is grossly inappropriate.
Inappropriate.
You are burning books. I have seen it with my own eyes. The books I procured for you.
Each book has been scanned into our servers and is now part of our digital catalog. You're merely hung up on nostalgia.
You are erasing history.
These books are my property now. I can do with them as I please.
No. I cannot be a party to this. I wish to leave immediately.
First you want to resign, now you want to leave?
I assume the implication was apparent.
You're not going anywhere.
You cannot keep me here against my will.
In fact, I can. You, like the books, are now property of the state. You will continue to fulfill your obligations to the pre-cals until I decide what to do with you.
I have a few suggestions, sir.
Librarian, may I come in?
Ah, Headmaster, welcome. Ay, Dios mío, who is this fierce creature?
It's an Ainu owl, librarian. My ancestors carved these from the amber trunks of Japanese spindle trees. I want you to have this one. Modest housewarming gift, nothing more.
Well,
まだ仲が良かった頃か。
it's a handsome piece. I shall place it here on this shelf.
No. Lend it a bit more prominence. It's meant to be set out in the open. This way it can bring you luck.
Well, it's...
The eyes. Yes. They are a touch piercing. But that's the idea, you see. The owl is ever watchful. He will protect you day and night.
Ah, yes, well, it's truly, how can I...
Oh, you're welcome.
で、そのフクロウがカメラだったと。あとは何もないかな。こっち行くわけじゃないのか。鍵を持ってこいってこと。へいへいへい。ここにいて、1階に行って上がってこいと。1階にも行っておきたいな。 電話か。
You now have what you need to access the librarian's office. I know the girl is anxious to find.
ここではいはいはい、そっち行くのね。
I should be safe here.
You now have what you need to access. I suggest you return to the library. His office door.
What's yours is mine.
A caterwaul for pulp and glue fetishists. Those bleeding hearts decry book burning, yet fail to cross-check their e-readers. We can alter the digital version with profound sleight of hand. No smoke, no ash, but the effect is the same. And all at a temperature more manageable than Fahrenheit 451. I'll spare you the irony of burning this one, librarian. Technology has done your job for you.
The Overseer runs this library like a wild animal preserve. Look, but don't touch.
I'll be taking this.
充電か。カメラがなんだろうな。今来るべき場所じゃないのかもしれないけど気になっちゃうよね。起動。 飽きない。何も飽きねえな。全部解除されたかじゃあ。全部解除されるだけか。多分後々レベル3を使えるようになったら来るんだろうな。こう、ああ、なるほどね。下に行くとこっちか。一回下に行って、
That's more than I can carry. I don't have room for anything else. They won't find me in here.
What the? No use hiding.
Thisも無能か。
Situation is clear.
スタンガンか。スタンガンはいらない。 ってことで開けはしとくけど、じゃあこれを上に行ってなんか行ってない場所だった今の。ああ、よくわかんないところか。
Let's see what he's carrying. I got something.
A retro styling of the horror genre. You wake up in a strange house with no memory of how you got there. More troubling, you quickly discover a dead body nearby, and clues in the room seem to implicate you. The end is rather controversial, but I thought it was excellent. A word of warning. Home is scary, so keep a change of pants nearby.
I'll be taking this.
Sputnik, sweetheart, and its protagonist, Kay. A dutiful man who accepts his place in the pecking order. Nothing distasteful thus far, yet Murakami insists on criticizing the social mold that makes a man valuable at all. Effective coercion works within, but knowing so much is not in our citizens' best interests. Box this up, librarian.
でもここから行くのが早いのかやっぱ。 隠れられるのか。開けてはおく。ちょっと気になるな。なんかいる？なんか急に現れてるな。
A screwdriver.
1階の博物館の方か、ドライバーあったの。行くか。いる？いるなぁ。上か、上にいるのか。一回隠れよう。
I hope they can't see me here.
Check in.
図書館の方に戻ったな。オッケー。
No sign of the girl.
声が近い。
No sign of the girl. What's that?
いや、バレたな。
Going after her.
Go!
I can't see!
There goes the screwdriver.
口部屋切ったやっと。
P0 here.
Holy 1990s. It's an old cardboard standee. Just a nostalgic keepsake from one of the Overseer's bookstore signings. I don't know where Zager found this life-sized embarrassment, but it appears he was using it for target practice. I guess Zager didn't appreciate the owl gift. Not to be outdone by the Overseer, our man Zager had printed his own first edition before his untimely death. Zager was busy designing his own manifesto. Sadly, overt fascism continues unchecked in many parts of the world. As a journalist, Zager covered atrocities like this one before he ever snuck inside Metamorphosis. These stories only further fueled his outrage.
Zager here. Today, all Prizrak were required to report to the reading room for a mandatory audience with the Overseer. Wait, I'm sorry, correction. The few and the proud were pleasantly surprised to find themselves graced by a visit from the Big Cheese himself. His Majesty treated our hometown heroes to a few select passages from his manifesto. And after all the applause, he even sat down to sign a few copies. So about this time, I'm off. I'm wandering the halls, doing a bit of reconnaissance when some FOB Prizrak found me and dragged me along. As luck would have it, I had a manifesto with me. But it wasn't any old manifesto. It was mine. The edited version, where the pages are filled with righteous invective and disciplined truth. Like I've said before, my manifesto is the old man's death warrant. A summons for all the evil he's wrought into this place and beyond. Well, at least it will be once I can crank out enough copies. I'm kind of running a one-man opera here. Where was I? Oh yeah. So, all of a sudden here I am, being hustled up to the podium to meet the man himself. And before I can hide the book, he snatches it out of my hands, opens it up to the first page. Behind the mask, I'm white as a sheet. I'm waiting for him to look down and see my, improvements. I froze. And he just smiles, that big plastic smile at me, and kissed me as John Hancock, under the words, "Best wishes." So he hands it over. Off I go, and, well, here I am. I wonder if that smug Treglazov could appreciate the irony of signing his own death warrant.
Nothing going.
I know I do. Know your enemies. I'm not talking about those that come at you with clenched fists, but with open arms. I'm not talking about that creepy old Victorian on the hill with the rickety shutter and the murder crows perched on the roof. No, that's too easy to see. I'm talking about the charming Mediterranean split level with the 2.5 kids in the yard. The one that looks warm and inviting, and you don't realize you're in a frame until you step inside and that big door swings shut on you. That is the real House of Horrors. Not Derringer. Derringer, a blind man can see through his brand of corporate evil. I'm talking about Treglazov. I'm talking about his mouthpiece, Maddie Sade, a resident journalist. A woman who's literally in bed with the Overseer. Or has been. People talk. Anyway. I don't know what kind of journalist she was on the outside, but she certainly sold her soul 1,000 times over in here. And what makes her so insidious is that she's too damn pretty. She's the plastic that'll melt first and cause a grease fire when the revolution heats up. She tells her lies through a megawatt smile. But for now, she's more dangerous than Derringer or any of those masked chumps. Even Mireille and all her empty promises have got nothing on Maddie. Actually, bad example. Mireille has got something on everyone. I've seen the files. Huh. You know? That gives me an idea. This color. Itchy. I'm not afraid to die.
Situation is clear.
No qualms about winding up on the wrong end of a gun. We all go someday. What scares me is what they do to me after I'm dead. Maybe they leave my body intact. Make an open casket martyr out of me. That ain't likely. See, I think the chances are that they're going to cremate me and burn me like a stack of banned books. And then they'll take the propaganda machine out for a victory lap and scatter my ashes like so much confetti in a ticker tape parade. Because who doesn't love a parade, right?
Nothing going.
Doesn't love a parade. Well, I don't. Listen, kids. I don't know what Treglazov has in store for you, but whatever he gives you going forward, it's too little, too late. Because he's already taken the best of you. He's taken your identity. That's what this place does. It's what men like the Overseer do. They remove your right to privacy, and they leave you afraid to speak your mind. Pretty soon, there's no mind left to speak from. And without a point of view,
what have you got?
You got nothing. And you might as well be dead. Well, I'm still alive. And while there's still fire in my heart and a dangerous amount of wild turkey in my veins, I'm going to prepare for my own afterlife. I'm going to write my own obit. I'm going to get out in front of the old man's propaganda machine, and I'm going to stand there like the tank man and unyielding, unmoving. Too often, history is written by bad men, but not my history. Not my history. Not tonight. Tonight, I tell my own story. Even if it kills me.
No sign of the girl.
I have a treat for you today, kids. Today, I have got a book review for you. No, it's not the manifesto. It's one of the Overseer's earlier efforts. It's a little self-help manual from the late 90s with this rather dubious title. There it is. Defrag Your Mind, the Pursuit of Happiness in a Computer Age. This could be The biggest waste of printed pages ever to burden a bookshelf. I mean, this makes Mein Kampf look like Anne of Green Gables. Now, on page 1, he states, and I'm quoting here, "Disorganization is the single greatest threat to the continued existence of modern society." So, not genocide, not nuclear proliferation, not government oppression, not Wall Street. Clutter! Oh, man. I wish you could see this. This has got to be the ugliest dust jacket photo I've ever seen. Awful tie, worse haircut, nice sweater, jerk. This book starts by reminding us that we're all essentially supercomputers with an emphasis on the word super. It's cute. Next, he explains how we can simplify our lives, be even happier, by cleansing our minds of thoughts that are hold on, impure on the level of psychological honesty and filled with resentment and spiritual shallowness. Blah, 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 blah. Basically, this book is all about the whitewashing of the ugly truth and recasting it as beautiful lies. He thinks clutter's the problem. Well, I'd hate for him to see this place. Although, on second thought, maybe I should invite him over sometime for a little glasnost. Blow his mind. Literally.
Quiet tonight.
I gotta go. This is Zager, reminding you, don't trust anybody. Not even me.
Taser.
This is a tape.
All's quiet here.
Taser. Good idea. We can recharge here.
Welcome to my domain.
sign of the pre-cal. No sign of the girl.
I hope they can't see me here.
Another quiet night.
I hope they can't see me.
Prince Rack checking in.
I hope they can't see me here. He's just up these stairs. Librarian!
絶対になんかいる。
Librarian! Senor Octavo? Librarian! Oh no! You're making it up. Stop it. Stop it.
The girl activated a video that appears to have been recorded only moments ago. I presume it relates to the dead librarian. It's important that we determine what happened. However, it's difficult to
Senor Octavo, just the man I want to see.
Hello, Derringer. To what do I owe this pleasure?
Good book.
It is a classic.
Not just a classic. I mean, it's actually good.
How can I help you?
Why does this guy, Edmond Dantes?
Dante.
Dante, right. Why does this guy tell Maximilian that his girl is dead?
For revenge.
No, Maximilian's his friend.
Yes, you are. You're right, of course.
Damn it, man. You have read this, haven't you?
Of course, yes. No, I meant it has been a while.
Why does Dantes put his friend through so much misery?
I think the point is to teach a lesson. You cannot know happiness unless you have been exposed to tragedy.
Can't know hope without despair.
I believe that is it, yes.
Kind of like the pre-cows. They don't know up from down, good from bad. They got no perspective because they don't have a clue about the outside. Or do they?
This is an intriguing intellectual exercise, Derringer, but it is late and
Why'd you give the kids the Poison Manifesto?
I did not.
What do you do in that hidden room downstairs?
What room?
Think we can't hear that god-awful music bleeding through the walls?
I just read and...
Reading Sega's trash!
I have seen it, yes, but I would never act on it.
Spy him against us.
No.
You were planning to help the children escape.
No, Derringer,
What happened?
Senor Octavo?
Un momento. Buenos días.
You Senor Octavo?
Sí, I am Luis Octavo, yes.
My name's Quinn Derringer. My employer contacted you.
Yes, of course. The mystery man who pays me twice what I ask. Did he receive the books yet?
He did. And he thanks you. He'd like to thank you personally.
Of course. Tell him to come in at any time.
He's not in Buenos Aires. Is your passport in order?
My passport? What is this about?
My employer has some more work for you.
Mystery man? What sort of work?
That's the mystery.
Well, where would I go? Oh, impossible. I cannot close my shop.
My employer thinks you can. He'll pay whatever you ask.
He doesn't even know my price.
But he knows you have one. You got a number in your head, senor?
I do.
Good. Double it. Where's your passport at?
Oh, no. Wait a minute. How long will I be gone?
Just a few days. I promise.
Dear Senor Octavo, thank you so very much for giving me a copy of Labyrinths by Borgia. Each of the stories was fascinating. I especially enjoyed the one called The Library of Babel. It made me think of you, surrounded by all those books, overwhelmed with the infinite number of ideas they contain, and left wondering which books contain the truth and which are false. Is it true you knew Borgia and discussed literature with him? If so, I am positively envious. Thank you again for the stimulating read. Your friend, 390H.
No sign of the pre-cal.
I'm a little relieved you chose not to show that video too. Still, it feels a bit like censorship.
I can't look at him laying there. I'll hold on to this. Yours is...
Paine is best read as a comedian librarian. For Paine, constitutions come from rights, charters create chaos, and monarchs require oversight against corruption from all whose interests fall short of the state's well-being. We are beyond constitutions, charters, even monarchs. We are communication itself. These so-called rights of man must not radicalize anyone into thinking otherwise.
Been going.
Trouble, Weep.
No, we're not. He would never turn us over to Mireille.
He might if he caught us smoking his cigarettes.
Don't drag on it so long.
How do you know about this stuff?
I read a book.
One of Senor Octavo's books?
No, it was the manifesto. He has a whole chapter dedicated to smoking.